it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your up, not mine.
I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. I'm no cap.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot.
Floyd Mayweather recently shared his thoughts on the upcoming Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight, saying that Davis is making his own decisions and risking his career in the process. Floyd explained that he's given Gervonta advice before, but if it isn't taken, it's no longer his concern. Still, he admitted that the matchup is good for the sport. The money involved is massive, and he'll definitely be tuning in to watch the fight.
Within my company, within my team, do it my way. Because if you mess up, I don't mind being a janitor to clean up the mess because I told you to do it a certain way. But if I tell you to do it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your up, not mine.
The boxing world is buzzing with heated debates over the upcoming clash between Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Jake Paul. Fans and analysts are split into two camps, some calling it nothing more than a marketing gimmick, while others see it as a smart move for Tank to expand his audience beyond traditional boxing fans. Amid all the noise, insiders have stepped forward with strong opinions, some defending Tank's bold decision, and others questioning what it means for the future of the sport.
And number 3, to retire.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they gonna have a field day. The backlash I get, I understand. What'd you say, number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur, that he ain't gonna do him no favors, that he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean? That's against the game. Like, you know what I mean? You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean? You owe the rematch to Lamont for the game. But you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups. You know what I mean? But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it, but it is kind of crazy.
Trainer Greg Hackett has voiced his frustration over the backlash Gervonta Davis has been facing. He argued that in today's world, fighters are criticized for almost everything they do, often by people who have no idea what's really going on in their personal or professional lives. Hackett emphasized that if Davis chooses to fight Jake Paul, that decision deserves respect. After all, no one outside the ring truly understands a fighter's motivations or struggles. For Hackett, fans need to stop dictating who boxers should fight and start appreciating the dedication it takes to stay at the top. His comments echo a wider frustration among trainers and athletes who feel that social media has turned boxing criticism into a never-ending spectacle.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate, all right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You like, why do I have to deal with all of this shit? People trying to keep money coming in, so they trying to come up with bright ideas. At the same time, you got a lot of people trying to get shit from you.
Another major discussion has erupted around sports analyst Max Kellerman, whose recent commentary has stirred serious backlash. Many in the boxing community accuse Kellerman of showing bias, particularly against fighters like Gervonta Davis. In several appearances, Kellerman downplayed Davis's accomplishments, claiming that Tank had never truly proven himself as a legitimate champion in his division. Those remarks didn't sit well with other analysts, who were quick to defend Davis's impressive record and knockout power. Critics argue that Kellerman's comments expose a deeper issue within boxing media, one where young, rising stars are often undervalued, while spectacle-driven narratives get all the attention. This growing debate shines a light on how bias and perception continue to shape the way fighters are judged in the public eye.
Because Max Kellerman is full of nonsense. Max Kellerman claims that Gervonta Davis was never a champion, that we've never been a period of time when we looked at Gervonta Davis and said Gervonta Davis is the man in that weight class. Bunch of other ridiculousness pouring out of the pie hole of Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman is one of the most biased, bought and paid for journalists that there is in the sport of boxing, and to have him back talking again on and giving his opinion again about the sport of boxing, I promise you is not a good thing. But let's analyze what he had to say about Gervonta, that Gervonta was not ever a champion. That is ridiculous because Gervonta Davis was a champion for the IBF at 130. He was a WBA super champion at 130. He is currently the reigning WBA champion at 135, and there is no other champion in the division for the WBA at the moment. He is the only WBA champion that there is at 135. He had a portion of a secondary, the title at the time he won it at 140 was a secondary title. So if you do not want to count that, I don't know why you wouldn't, seeing as everybody else counts that belt, but okay, fine. He's a 2-division world champion. That is more than zero, Max Kellerman. Now, looking at the idea that Gervonta Davis has never been the man in that division is absolutely ridiculous because Gervonta Davis has really been the man in that division the entire time that he's there.
Former world champion Paulie Malignaggi has never been one to hold back his opinions, and this matchup is no exception. He openly slammed the idea of Gervonta Davis fighting Jake Paul, arguing that boxing is losing its authenticity. According to Malignaggi, knockouts only matter when they happen between evenly matched fighters. Manufactured spectacles, he claimed, cheapen the sport and mislead casual fans into believing they're watching real competition. In a discussion with fellow analyst Chris Algieri, Malignaggi emphasized that while casual viewers might find the event entertaining, true boxing followers can see right through the hype. He warned that giving social media-driven fighters the same spotlight as world-class athletes blurs the line between entertainment and pure sport. His comments struck a nerve, highlighting the growing tension between boxing's proud tradition and its modern, influencer-fueled direction.
Knockouts, dude. Knockouts. People like knockouts. They don't care if you're knocking out cab drivers. Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that, though. You can manufacture that, though. You can manufacture.
You can't manufacture.
To a degree, you can. To a degree. I mean, you can't. Yeah, Gervonta legitimately cannot get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists, though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist,
if
he was a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best of the best. Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way
Paulie,
we did when Felix Trinidad was doing it. You know? The way they did when Mike Tyson was doing it in his prime. Okay, say what you want about the Mike Tyson era. He knocked out everyone from 1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
Well, by your standard, you could say that Tyson was, to a degree, manufactured.
No, because he fought everyone that was there. Everyone that was there at that time he fought.
Teddy Atlas will 100% agree with this.
With the expense of
Witherspoon. We're afraid of him.
With the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all, doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who had contract issues with King at the time. Except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say like, oh, but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when you gonna fight them? The lightweight division was stacked with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there. Didn't fight almost any of them. So it's not the same thing as the Tyson era. You want to say anything about Tyson era? Fine. It wasn't as high level or something. He still knocked out everyone.
In contrast to critics like Paulie Malignaggi, boxing commentator Showbiz The Adult offered a far more optimistic perspective after watching the press conference between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. He admitted that, at first he had doubts, believing Jake's size and natural strength could overwhelm the smaller Davis. But after observing Tank's composure, confidence, and sharp focus, Showbiz completely changed his stance. He described Davis as a seasoned professional who fully understands the magnitude of the moment. The way Gervonta carried himself, calm under pressure, sharp in every response, convinced Showbiz that the champion has what it takes to adapt and neutralize Jake's physical edge. In his view, many fans might be underestimating Davis. Jake's power might be real, he said, but Gervonta's technical mastery and fight IQ could be what ultimately decides the outcome.
I'll beat the hell out of this kid. Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. No cap. I know Tank wasn't saying much, fumbling over his words, seems bashful, but I'm looking, right? And I'm just like, bro, he doesn't feel that Jake Paul is an issue. Even though he said it, he doesn't feel like he has to whoop his ass. He doesn't feel threatened. That's the word. He doesn't feel threatened, but he does feel out of his element. I'm gonna be honest, man. It sounds like, I know everybody's looking at this press conference and it's like, number one, I know what y'all saying. It's a clown show. It's not real. Tank was paid off. It's fake. Cause Tank, when he was talking about Jake and JB, even I was like, what is he talking about?
He laughing.
What are you talking about?
What does he have to do with this? Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. Nah, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and him.
So that I could understand if that's your concern. I am being extremely truthful with how I feel about this and how I'm reacting to this. My oldest son was like, I see the same thing, Dad, but you're gonna get a weird response to your take.
Floyd Mayweather's name has once again surfaced, not as a promoter this time, but as a competitor. Reports suggest that Mayweather is now chasing a potential fight with Mike Tyson, and analysts believe this move goes far beyond just another payday. They see it as Floyd's attempt to remind the world that he still commands the spotlight, that even in retirement, Money Mayweather refuses to be overshadowed. With all eyes fixed on the Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul spectacle, Floyd seems determined to prove that no one, not even his own protege, can steal his shine. For many, this is vintage Mayweather, a man driven by attention, fueled by competition, and obsessed with legacy. As Tank and Jake prepare to create their own moment in boxing history, Floyd's rumored return tells a deeper story, about the relentless battle among legends to stay relevant in a sport that never stops evolving.
Celebrities and so many people that are known, where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. So there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about what is going to happen in that fight.
Former heavyweight contender Eddie Chambers has stepped into the conversation with a strong message for those doubting Gervonta "Tank" Davis: never underestimate skill. Chambers reminded fans that boxing has always been a sport where precision, timing, and intelligence can overcome size and strength. History, he said, is filled with smaller men defeating giants. According to him, Jake Paul's size advantage means little when compared to Davis's elite technique, speed, and ring IQ. While Jake has improved and earned respect, Chambers believes he still lacks the experience and composure needed to handle a world-class fighter like Tank. But beyond the debate, insiders say Gervonta Davis is taking this fight deadly serious. Reports from his training camp describe an athlete focused, locked in, and sharper than ever. Analysts observing his body language at press events note a calm intensity, composed, alert, and determined. For Davis, this fight isn't just another payday. It's about pride and opportunity, the chance to prove he can dominate both the sport and the spotlight. A victory over Jake Paul could catapult him into global superstardom, expanding his reach far beyond hardcore boxing circles. While critics dismiss the event as a circus, Tank seems intent on showing that he can balance entertainment with authenticity. His preparation makes one thing clear: he's not just fighting Jake Paul, he's fighting for control of the narrative itself.
Press conference, and you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games, don't hit him in the back of the head, don't rabbit punch him, don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not gonna have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash. Like, you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff came with Floyd Mayweather Jr., man.
Former world champion Timothy Bradley has also weighed in, and his confidence lies firmly with Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Bradley described the matchup as easy money for Tank, emphasizing that Davis's world-class experience and technical mastery make Jake Paul's challenge look small in comparison. He reminded fans that Davis has shared the ring with elite-level opponents, while Jake has only faced a handful of professionals. Bradley did give credit where it's due, acknowledging Jake's dedication and work ethic, but he insists that the gap in experience and skill is simply too vast to overlook. In his view, Davis's speed, defense, and timing will expose Paul's weaknesses early, potentially ending the fight within a few rounds. However, Bradley did issue one warning: the only real danger for Tank is complacency. If he takes Jake lightly, that's when surprises can happen. But if he stays focused, Bradley predicts a dominant and clinical performance. Beyond all the predictions and controversy, though, this fight represents something much larger. It's not just boxer versus influencer. It's a reflection of where boxing is heading. The line between sport and spectacle is thinner than ever. And Davis versus Jake Paul stands as the ultimate collision between traditional greatness and modern celebrity power.
Contract, yeah. You prove your innocence and say that it ain't fixed. Because check this out. Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many hoes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, this gonna be taking candy from a baby. Jake is missing the rules. See, this is what happened when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. You know, fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he them ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no. Yeah, false sense of security. Now he trying to pick on small folks, right? You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size.
For boxing purists, it's unsettling, a symbol of how far the sport has drifted from its roots. For marketers, it's nothing short of genius, a spectacle designed to grab global attention. But regardless of where you stand, one thing is certain. This event has already done what boxing so often struggles to do, unite the world's attention. Fighters like Gervonta Davis are learning to navigate this new era, one that demands both integrity and showmanship. Whether fans love it or hate it, this matchup marks a turning point. It proves that boxing isn't dying, it's evolving. The ring has become bigger than ever, and every punch now echoes far beyond the ropes.
The heart, right in that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please. Please, man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot. Man, we can put together some kind of like account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro. And we can, all your fans can give you $1, bro. So that way you don't be blowing this fight. It's easy, bro. This sparring section. You know, look, I'm so confused. I don't know what the hell to call this. The circus? Just call it a circus. Yeah, just call it a damn circus. Because, you know, 1 minute they said, oh, this is the fight.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.